Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in to a Monday morning live stream. I hope you guys are as excited as I am. I woke up sharp at 6 a.m. this morning to notice that Bitcoin had gone all the way up to kiss $122,400 before falling back down a little bit today. But if anyone is familiar with charting, this looks like a very classic breakout. I'm super excited. Things are moving in the market pretty substantially. Bitcoin up 0.88%, Ethereum up 2.1%, breaking out yet again. I came up here, see this blue line right here? That is the all-time high for Ethereum. I think anyone looking at this chart realizes we only have potentially a couple days to break out to new all-time highs here on ETH. Today, we're going to be talking about what I expect to happen in the decentralized science landscape and what I believe the rest of this bull market will look like as it plays out in the coming weeks to coming months. Yes, I do not think the bull market for crypto will be lasting into 2026. I understand that might be a contrarian position for some people out there, given that economic conditions are getting to a point with the Fed cutting rates and potential QT ending, that a lot of people are starting to say we'll have the first 5-year cycle. I heard that last time. I fell for it last time. Not falling for it this time. Even if it does end up coming true, I will obviously be keeping some money in the market always, because I get pretty bad FOMO and I don't want to be the person sitting on the sideline with all the cash and no money in the market. That's not how I like to do it. But yes, let's get right into things. Ethereum is up more than Bitcoin right now, but we're seeing dominance on Bitcoin initially go pretty green today, having a bit of a reversal here. Hopefully we could close the day here red. I expect that we'll chop here for a couple days in this little area of consolidation that I drew back here like 2 or 3 weeks ago, before breaking down and going pretty quickly down to the mid 50s. 50% dominance on Bitcoin. It's playing out almost exactly as we expected it to play out. I do think I'll probably be wrong here with how quickly we shoot straight down. I think we'll consolidate for a little bit longer and then shoot down. But I believe full-heartedly that this is the beginning of some sort of an alt season as people position for the rates to get cut here September 17th, Wednesday. But what's going on, Stare? Good morning, Council of Liquidity Providers. Council of LP. What's going, Vibra Finance? How's it going, Steven? That person whose name I shall not be saying on the live stream in fear of saying something inappropriately. What's good, David? How's it going, Don? Welcome into the live stream. The bull market setup feels too good to be true. Things look gorgeous, Steven, and I'm going to talk to you guys about all of it. I'm going to go through a bunch of different charts here that are really going to make you guys pretty amped up for altcoins. And, of course, hopefully, you'll be all amped up, alted up for DeSci. Because right now we're seeing the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. Yeah, 6 green days for Bio Protocol in a row. Now, if you don't know what Bio Protocol is, you probably don't know what this channel is, but it's up 123% in this 5-6 day period, which is absolutely bonkers because it's already a $100 million market cap when it started. Now it's up to 230 million, and it is just going, it's like nothing is stopping it right now, okay? And the main point that I want to bring to all of you guys is that this is the #1 DeSci coin in the entire space. This having this much strength is making a lot of people a crap ton of money. And anytime the initial asset, in this case Bio, in the entire crypto marketplace, it would be Bitcoin. Whenever we see that main leader asset go on a ripper rally like this, you end up getting some bleeding into some of the smaller, lesser known coins, aka the rest of decentralized science, some of the Bio ecosystem, some of the Bio IP tokens. Yes, exactly. Bio XYZ shirt. I had to break it out for today. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy what we're seeing here. It's going to bleed. I don't know when it's going to start bleeding, but I know that it will bleed into some of the other Bio Protocol ecosystem plays. I imagine we'll get some choppiness here as we approach 300 million, but I would not be that surprised if we just continued to rally up to 500 million before getting any kind of choppiness here. Like, this is a very, very easy play for people to understand. We're getting Solana shilling it, we got Binance shilling it, we get CZ shilling it, we get Vitalik shilling it, we get literally everything is aligned for this right now, okay? It's crazy to see it. And it's not just bio that we're seeing ripping. We're also seeing all of the main bio protocol projects go crazy. And if you look at the top performers today, you're already seeing it play out where it's bleeding into some of the other smaller coins here, right? You can see Claw here, one of the IP tokens, up 10% today, up 80% on the week. Bio up 100% on the week. Cryo, Curetopia, Cerebrum, Cryo Rat. All of these going crazy. So we'll talk about that. I'm going to take a moment to read some of the comments and kind of breathe. First, before we get into the DeSci landscape and how I view it playing out for the rest of the bull market, I'm going to explain what I think is happening in all of crypto as I wait for all the likes to roll in. So make sure you guys hit the thumbs up button on the live stream. We go live Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Talk about DeSci and the broader crypto markets. OMG, he fresh. Let's go. Got a new cut. Low taper fade for the win. Got my super cuts cut going right now. Saving some money so I can keep it fully invested. Bill is the man. Come on, let's go. Bullish. Let's go. I want that t-shirt. I know. They gave it to me for being an early believer in bio. Getting all of you guys in on the pre-sale a year ago. They were like, you know what? You deserve a shirt. And I was like, you know what? Give me some socks too. And they said, let's go, baby. Okay. All right. Are we periodically selling on September 17th? Would rebuy a couple weeks later then, but the sell the news theory is realistic, says Stare. Yeah, it's more of like, I believe full-heartedly we'll see a local top. I don't know if it'll be the cycle top or just a local top September 17th, but I think that the idea of the rate cuts, and I've been saying it over and over again, is going to be better than the actual rate cuts because that's just how the markets work, especially here in crypto. And if you go look at all of crypto right now, right? So I'm going to go take a look at total instead of just looking at Bitcoin or Ethereum or anything. We're seeing the total crypto market cap absolutely break out again. So we broke out to new all-time highs, had a retest as everything cooled off for a second and just kind of like retested some of the moving averages. And now we're seeing that strength again where we're just going and going and going. And at the same time that Bitcoin dominance is falling, we know that this is an altcoin driven rally. Most of it's Ethereum, right? But we are seeing altcoins move, namely bio. You know, there's a lot of people with good positions right now. It's just not quite at the stage where everything is going straight up. And so since we have officially closed out of the circle that I drew here, I will say for drawing the circle back in May, we did hit it pretty perfectly. It wasn't the exact breakout, but we made all-time highs in the circle. So I'm going to now take the circle and move it. And I'm going to use that September 17th time frame for where I think we will be having some sort of a local top to replace the circle. So we'll do the September 17th vertical dotted line, and I shall be moving this to say that I think we'll be at the top of the channel again for September 17th. So somewhere in here, I think that we will hit for the total crypto market cap. I'm leaving these other two circles here because I want to see what ends up happening. This one I drew when I believed that we would see the total crypto market cap hit 10 trillion this cycle. It was somewhere back here in 2023 where I drew it. So I'm going to keep it there to remind myself. We have officially entered into the time frame where I thought we would be closer to 10 trillion. And then this is where I think we could see the end of the cycle. I honestly don't remember when I drew this circle. So good morning. Hit that like button for my birthday. Let's go, MK. 44 and I feel great. Let's go, MK. WMK. Bullish. Bullish. Happy birthday. W. HBD. Happy birthday, my man. Happy birthday. Yeah, so moving it over. I also want to bring up total 2, which is the total crypto market cap minus Bitcoin. Okay, this one is also looking like it's trying to break out. If you zoom out a little bit on it, instead of the daily candles, we go out to the weekly candles, you see a much clearer pattern here, right? where we've just been knocking on the door here, trying to break out from the last cycle's all-time high. This will be the second retest that we've tried to break out from. So I do think this one will be the one that we break out because it's so close to the end of the cycle and we're just seeing everything start ripping. But this is everything minus Bitcoin. Looks like it's about to start sending again. And hopefully we can get a strong push here with at least a double sending us to 3 trillion. But I would be way happier if we get that push up to 5 or 6 trillion, right? I know all of you guys would be as well. M2 is crashing in late September to late October. Let's go, Don D. Foreshadowing. Exactly. Exactly. Right? Do you have a... Don, can you give me a link to the M2? Because my M2 that I was tracking just had a change in the ticker. And it's kind of annoying because I don't have the M2 to follow anymore. So I need a new one. They changed it. So if somebody in the chat could provide me with a new M2, I would appreciate it. Not just like, I'm looking for global, not just the US, right? Because the US just looks like this. So the US is just starting to break out, but I want that global, right? If we go also to total 3, you can see all altcoins minus Ethereum and minus Bitcoin. It's the same exact looking pattern, right? Just potentially looks a little bit stronger here. It looks a little bit stronger for that breakout than the other one did, probably because Ethereum is ungodly overextended, but has almost zero inclination of stopping, especially, guys, especially with the Ethereum holding companies that are starting to Ponzi themselves to be multi-billion-dollar companies. They're literally the craziest thing I've seen, but they are just funneling money into Ethereum right now. Tom Lee is the new Cathie Woods for this cycle. And I love them both. Don't make any mistake, guys. I'm just pulling up Don D's global money here with the offset. Let's go. Make no mistake, okay? I love Tom Lee. I think he's doing a good job. I'm just here to say that he's reminding me a lot of Cathie Wood with the retail excitement. Okay, so this is Bitcoin and the global monetary supply. Dylan, it looks like we had a crazy push here. Crazy push up. So, who knows? But it makes me a little bit nervous because I do know that when we track that global liquidity, we are getting... it follows dominance pretty perfectly. But yeah, look at this. Wait, something's wrong here. I don't like this chart because it's like, where's the rest of Bitcoin's price history here? We're like way up here now. Oh, you have to add it to the chart. All right. Well, I'll move it over here as I embarrass myself for not realizing. Add to favorites. Oh, there was also the liquidity here that I wanted to show you guys. But we'll come back to it. We will come back to it. It's awkward because I don't know how to get out of this. Mom's portfolio, LOL. Do you guys want to see if we get, how many likes do we have? If we get up to 15 likes, I'll dox my mom's portfolio for you guys to see. I forgot I had it here, so it might not be totally up to date, but if we get to 15 likes, I will dox my mom's portfolio for you guys to see. Scroll down, he says. Oh, use on chart. Oh, okay. Okay, I hear you now. I hear you. All right. Bullish. Listen, I don't usually add extra stuff. But here we go. Let's move it over here. Okay, this is global liquidity offset by 82 days. Thank you, Don D. Appreciate it. So yeah, global liquidity right there. You can see it starting to tick down a little bit. One of the things that we've been watching for global liquidity is when you track it against Bitcoin dominance, what you actually end up seeing. Why is it percentages? I don't want percentage. Get out of here with these percents. Whatever. When you start to track global liquidity with Bitcoin dominance, what you actually end up seeing is that they follow to a T. Rather than actually tracking it against Bitcoin or total crypto market cap, you see that dominance follows global liquidity pretty perfectly. So this sell-off in global liquidity is actually, in my opinion, pretty bullish for altcoins, as dominance, like at some point this is going to have to break, right? But dominance is falling, global liquidity is falling, which is pretty nice to see. Listen to Don or else. Make sure you're on the daily chart. Okay, all right. You happy? Am I winning? Am I doing it right? Let's go put it up on Bitcoin so that he's extra happy. This does not feel offset at all, though, I will say. So clearly I'm still doing something incorrectly, because we got this peak, trough, this consolidation period. Looks like this little crash turned into something longer, and now we get the little slow grind bleed up. Yes, now go to Bitcoin. Okay. Let me take a sip of water here. Delicious. Water. Not sponsored, although it should be. All right. Go to the settings. Why did I just get a random Domino's ad? Steven, you must be hungry. You gotta be hungry. All right, offset by 84 days. Okay, there we go. Damn, look at that. Look at that beautiful chart. Let's get a quick push back up to 130,000, 135,000, and then that slow grind up. And then a peak. Look at where dominance, or look at where global liquidity seems to have peaked. September 24th. For a temporary time period at least, but that is right after our expected September 17th peak. So let's see what ends up turning out. But if global liquidity with the 84-day offset, even if it did take me a minute to get there, global liquidity, 84-day offset, peaking around the end of September, right as we get the first rate cut from the Fed, as they start to pivot to a more quantitative easing environment, where everyone in the entirety of the liquid markets seems to believe that we will be going straight up after this event, because that's what we did in 2020 when they cut rates to zero and we just went straight up. But if you actually go look throughout history, when they cut rates, it usually is because the economy is in the shitter and it's time to crash. They cut rates, and then we had the fastest stock market crash in the history of the stock market in 2020. They cut rates in 2018, and then we had a pretty brutal down period in the markets as we got a 20% correction, and we saw the end of the bull market in the 2018 era. They cut rates back in 2014, and we saw the same type of stuff going on. They cut rates over and over again. It's the same story, but this time it's going to be different, right, guys? Either way, it really could be. Who knows? We're going to see. We're going to have to wait and see, which is why I don't want to remove myself entirely from the market, no matter what ends up happening, because genuinely, this has been a very different market cycle than anything I've ever seen before. So who knows? But I did want to share with you guys those total market cap stock charts, because we're seeing a pretty clear breakout here, right? This little period of consolidation is over. It looks identical. It's just even more offset, right? And then we get a quick rally. And I think we're going to get that quick rally all the way up to the green circle before potentially getting a bit of a crash here. And then you go look at total 2. It's the same story, just minus Ethereum, or minus Bitcoin rather. The offset kind of starts to fall apart a little bit here. But you guys get it. We've already gone through those charts. The next one I wanted to bring up in the short term is the global liquidity. We are 2 likes away from me doxing my mother's portfolio. We go look at the liquidation maps. As you guys know, the market makers love to grab all of the liquidity from the market. So anytime they can, they will. We just saw Bitcoin go pretty crazy this morning. When I woke up again at 6 a.m., it was rallying like crazy. Now we're getting a little bit of a pullback. And I have a theory with why it rallies while we're sleeping. If you guys notice, it always feels like some of our bags are up the most when we wake up, and then throughout the day they kind of sell off a little bit. I have a little bit of a theory there, but I'll talk more about it if we get there at the end of the live stream. Would you look at that? Let's go. But if you look at liquidity here, I could see a world where Bitcoin kind of falls down here to grab some of this liquidity down at 119. I'm not banking on it 100% because I do think we have a lot of momentum to the upside today. So my bias today would be that we hit 123. If we go to the weekly chart for Bitcoin's liquidity, the liquidation, the same thing. We have a bunch of liquidity down here at 116. I am going to allow my bias to speak and say that we're probably not going down to 116. I could be wrong, but I don't think we're going to see it. So I'm going to let my bias speak and say we're going to 123,000 here this week, especially as we get more and more liquidations stacking up at these levels. If we switch this over to Ethereum, you see an even more beautiful liquidations chart for the weekly because it already hit it. But before the live stream, when I was prepping for this, there was some pretty clear, there was some pretty clear liquidity up here at 43.50 on the way to 44 as the short sellers continue to cope with the reality that Ethereum is just going straight up. And so we already hit those for the week. We literally already hit those, and it's just been a couple hours since I checked. On the daily, there's a lot of liquidity down here at 22.33, but I think we have enough momentum to keep going. I really do. And go look at Ethereum. Yeah, goddamn guys. Okay, all right, enough rambling about the state of the market, even though it is super healthy to think about everything and think things through. At the end of the day, Ethereum's headed for all-time highs. Bitcoin is headed for all-time highs. Dominance is falling. Whether or not it falls this week or next week, it is broken structure. We have pretty clear confirmation of that at this point. So we shift our focus to some of the strongest altcoin sectors. And most people know at this point that decentralized science is one of the strongest sectors in crypto that is utility driven. It doesn't have often the price action to match the utility driven nature of it and how bullish a lot of the biggest figures in crypto are on the sector. And that has a lot to do with the fact that just the degens that drive a lot of the liquidity don't necessarily know much about biotech and academia, which is fine. At the end of the day, we don't need that degen money to just showcase the power of decentralized science. And right now is a clear proof of it because bio is up another 10% after being up like 60% the other day. And all of that money that people are making is already starting to bleed over into some of the other bio protocol names. And so my expectation of what's going to be taking place here is that we'll get some of the blue chip DeSci coins absolutely going crazy. Research Hub, we're going to see it breaking back out to new all-time highs at $1.50. So a quick 100% gains over the next couple of weeks here. I think that is a given. I don't think that's a risky bet at all. We'll see it breaking out and moving higher. Yes, let's get Bill up to 500K. Bill just can't break out because people keep selling. I know, it's actually kind of ridiculous, but so be it. We're not at the point where the market's going to let micro caps like Bill go crazy yet. We're just not there yet. We're going to get there very shortly, but we're not there yet. We're at the stage right now where the mega caps of the narratives start to rip. Really, we're at the stage right now where Ethereum and some of the big altcoins are taking the attention and the limelight, and then it trickles down into some of the other narratives. But we're seeing people position in bio. Once they've made a shit ton of money, once bio has started getting closer up to $1 billion in market cap and has really just gone on that ripper rally, then we'll see a lot more of the bleeding and profit taking into some of the other DeSci coins. That'll be stuff like Research Coin, stuff like all of the bio protocol ecosystem, right? All of those launches that they have. We got Cerebrum DAO, we have Valley DAO, we have Hair DAO, we have Athena DAO, we have Cryo DAO, we have Vita DAO, we have all of these. Curetopia just going bonkers after that Solana mention, right? And then we'll see some of the big names in DeSci that are not part of the bio protocol ecosystem take off. Things like Poseidon DAO, things like Axon, things like Yes No Error, things like Data Lake, right? We'll start seeing a lot of those projects take grip and just start sending like crazy. And that is part of the flow of money through crypto, right? And so once you've seen a lot of those go crazy, you want to look at which ones have sent the hardest, okay? And start looking at the IP tokens associated with them. That's when we start seeing those IP tokens go crazy, okay? Now, the good part about those IP tokens is at this point, they're so tiny in market cap that, like if we go look at Forge, for example, just because I know it's one of the smallest. Oh, I don't even see it on here. Data Lake, Wellshare, underrated plays. Agree, Beagle. I don't even see it on here, probably because they don't have enough liquidity trading in it. But I can go to Molecule. And we can go to Base and see stuff like Forge here, right? These tokens. These, I've been beating the drum on these more than I have ever for anything else, period, right? When I was talking about Riff and Euro, I was talking about it a little bit, but I really wasn't driving it home on you guys, right? When I was talking about the bio pre-sale, I talked about it a lot, but I really didn't like drive it home, I feel like. Let me drive it home for these. These are the safest plays in all of crypto. Not just DeSci, in all of crypto. These are so easy, it hurts me to see them at these market caps still. But I'm patiently waiting for the time that the market wakes up to what the hell is going on here. Because these are real world assets with genuine utility that are set to transform their respective industries, sitting at market caps that will be eclipsed by their daily or monthly revenue in just a couple of years. Post, obviously, getting through all of the hiccups with bringing a new therapy or a new whatever to the market, right? Going through clinical trials and getting the FDA approval, right? These are the flagship products of all of the BioDAO's ecosystem. We have BioDAO funding new BioDAOs. Yeah, you get it? Those BioDAOs are solely there to create tokenized intellectual property. Okay? This is the tokenized intellectual property. This is the whole point of the entire ecosystem are these. These are really, really no-brainers, okay? And I'll chill at that. I'll leave it at that. But we're looking at some of these already starting to go up. It was not that long ago that Forge was an $80,000 market cap. It was not that long ago that Biard was under $1 million market cap, if I remember correctly. It was not that long ago that Hempy was down at $100,000 market cap, $150,000, right? So they're already starting to creep up. It's just they don't have that mainstream attention yet. And so over time, they will all gain that mainstream attention. We're looking at Vita RNA. It was 3 million not that long ago. Now it's up at 9 million. We're looking at FAC. That's 6 million now. That was down to 2 million not that long ago. Okay? You guys get the point. Hopefully I've driven it home enough for each and every one of you guys. But this is where I think a lot of the excitement will come. When these are sending, we'll be at that point in the cycle. Does that make sense? Where it's just everything going. And the longer it takes and the further that things like bio go before getting to that point, the better. The more liquidity will be in the market. Okay? So buckle up. If bio or one of the DAOs finds a cure to anything, that candle is going to $1,000. Yeah, no, absolutely, Wild Africa. When we start seeing some of these, now I don't think that these will pass clinical trials or FDA approval this cycle. Let me be clear with you guys on that. I don't think that any of these will hit FDA approval this cycle. If any of them do, it would be Vita RNA, Vita Fast, or FAC. Okay, one of these three. If any of them do, it will be one of these three. I don't think it'll happen this cycle. But when it does happen, we're going to get a God candle, because a lot of the biotech companies that you'll see on the stock market, when they get FDA approval, they go to be worth $400 million like overnight. It's actually insane how quickly those things will turn around. But yeah, there's that. Now, one of the other things that I really wanted to bring up to you guys today is this chart, but I feel like I can't segue super easily into it, so I'm just gonna do a hard pause, reset the room, appreciate the 18 likes that you guys gave. Round of applause. My mom's gonna love having her portfolio doxed on the live stream. W. I'm amped up, guys. I'm really fired up because, and I made like, I'm really excited for everything that's going on. It hasn't been this way in quite some time. And honestly, I was getting pretty sick and tired of the illiquidness of the markets. So I'm pretty excited for it all. So hopefully you guys share that excitement with me. But also remember, we're very much at the end of the cycle. We're very close to the end of the cycle. And this chart here is pinpointing it. Okay? We have the CBBI, which is one of my favorite indicators or conglomerate of indicators to indicate the health of the crypto market. The Colin Talks Crypto Bitcoin Bull Run Index, 78 out of 100. Anytime it tips into 90, the mid 90s, I should say, we get a cycle top. And if you look at this, we are in the middle of a rising wedge on the excitement for the crypto markets. And I shall put it like this so that everyone can see it better. Back here in March of 24, we tipped out at 80. Back here in December of 24, we tipped out at 80. And then back here in July, we tipped out at 80. I believe that right now, in the next month or two, we're going to break out and get this push up into the 90s as Bitcoin ascends to $150,000 per coin. And I believe that that will likely end up being the peak in the crypto cycle. We're not there yet, and this this happens to be the most fun part of the cycle, is when things get super red hot. And yeah, you already are seeing it in the stock market. So now it's time for the crypto market to go crazy. Patrick's mom is better than Nancy Pelosi. She's actually kind of goated at it, I'm not gonna lie. So let's see. This is her portfolio, okay? Which is pretty cool to see. Let's zoom out a little bit so you can see it. She's not got a ton of crypto, but she does have a good chunk of it. So she's got Bitcoin, Ethereum, AVAX, although it's really just pennies on the dollar at AVAX. She's got Qualcomm, Disney, T-Mobile, ExxonMobil. She's got Meta, which she scooped up at like $100 a share. She's got Tesla, which she was buying with me down at like 20 bucks a share. She's got VU, which she just DCAs into it, which is an index fund in the market. She's got Pfizer. She's got Win. She's got Palantir, which she's been holding since $11 per share. Yep, you heard me right. I told her to sell at 170, and she's like, no, not yet. It's not time. And I was like, Mom, it's time. I was like, no, like, I don't think you understand. It just gapped up like crazy. Like, do you see this bull run, Mom? Do you see this? Do you see how, like, you bought it at 11 bucks. What do you mean it's not time yet? Like, you should take some profits. She's like, no, it's not ready. It's still going to keep going. I'm going to set a limit order at $200. And I was like, good luck. And it's just gone in another straight line. It's crazy. She's got Apple. She's got AstraZeneca. She's got Arc Genomics Revolution. She's got Coin. She's got Bath and Body Works, which I told her not to buy. And she was like, no, all of my friends love Bath and Body Works. I'm buying it. And I think she bought it. Yeah, she bought it down here. She's like, it'll be fine. All my friends love going there. And I was like, okay, you're making some crazy gains on this thing. And then a bunch of other random things. But look, she also bought Qubit. I think she bought Qubit back here. Back in 2025. This is a more recent purchase of hers, but goddamn crazy. Can your mom do signals? Honestly though, Mason, the duck has arrived, but on a new YouTube account. Damn. Okay, Mason is Duck from the Discord, if any of you guys are unfamiliar with it. But shout out Duck, shout out Mason. Welcome to the daily live stream. Yeah, this is her portfolio. She is doing really well, to say the least. I let her manage it for the most part, but she's killing it. So shout out to the mom. I know. Time for her to do a morning stream with Patrick. When I get my mom on the live stream, it will be a top indicator. That is just facts. No, mom needs pump science molecules. I know. She bought Bill. She put like $1,000 into Bill. So she's a fan. She loves the DeSci narrative. Been a minute. Yeah, I know. It has indeed been a minute. But everything, we're at the point in the cycle where everything is starting to rip. And I think that will coincide here with the CBBI indicator going up to 90, which should be a top indicator. When everyone is making money hand over fist and you're just seeing everyone celebrate their wins online, it's usually a good time to lock in some of the gains. It doesn't mean you have to get out of it all the way. How do I get out of my mouse? There we go. Doesn't mean you have to get out of it all the way, right? Because it can always keep going higher than you expect. But it does usually mean you should be DCAing out at some point. And I know nobody really enjoys hearing that when everyone's making money. And especially in an environment where everything is such small market caps, it's difficult to encourage people to lock in profits because you're selling it on me, right? If I haven't sold, then you're selling on me. But we're at that point in the cycle where things are really heating up good. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. Every time we get some of these toppy feelings, it ends up being correct. But I really do hope that we get that fundamentally driven rally where we just have this go crazy, slam dunk on the basketball hoop, chop for a few months, and then the beginning of next year, we get that fundamental driven rally that goes higher than anyone expected. And that is a real possibility, right? But that we got to play that one by ear. The Twitter sentiment meter never fails. Over bullish NFT accounts means top is in. I know. It's crazy to see. It literally never fails. The sentiment meter never fails. Yeah, it's crazy. Let's see how BID is doing. Creator BID token here, up 10% on the day. Let's go. Let's grab that 1.8 million liquidity. Creator BID finally making a bit of a comeback here after that pretty monumental downturn. From 43 million all the way to 15 million, now back up to 20 million on Creator BID. We're seeing the ecosystem really do a turnaround. And if you go look at the Creator BID ecosystem, right? Let's go to Creator BID Eco. Oh, there we go. You'll see a lot of the agents are up a good amount today. One of the curated launches up 100% today. We see the DraftKings agent what I wanted to point out with this is that most of the creator bid ecosystem had some pretty aggressive sell-offs with creator bid tanking, right? Go look at DraftKings, one of the flagship creator bid agent, had a crazy sell-off. It's coming back pretty strong here because again, it's got like $300 million in assets under management. So its market cap being 15 million doesn't really make sense, but it is starting to send again with creator bid starting to send. And so if you actually take a step back for a second and go look at Bill, I know Bill is having a little bit of a pullback here today, but Bill held up better than almost everything in the creator bid ecosystem. Bill maintained at those previous highs while everything else in the ecosystem sold off pretty aggressively. And that's in part because of DeSci holding up, right? And so now we're going to see the AI agent go crazy, and we're going to see DeSci go crazy. And honestly, I completely forgot that I was going to even bring this up to you guys, but I found the Bio Protocol token. So this is Aubrey, whatever you want to call it. This is the first curated launch on Bio Protocol, right? It's going to be a longevity agent, and it's starting to gear up excitement. The founder, the person who's running the project, received a grant from Vitalik directly for one of his previous projects. I remember talking, or I didn't really get to talk to him, but when I was hosting the roast of DeSci with Research Hub, Aubrey was one of the people who was roasting DeSci and asking some really crazy questions about the AI agent swarm that Bio was building, because they announced the AI agent swarm at that roast of DeSci, and then the gentleman got up and started roasting them and asking a bunch of questions, and they were really good questions. Apparently that connected them, and now they're working together on this. This is the first curated launch of Bio Protocol for AI agents, and it's starting at a $205,000 FDV. It's gonna be a really, really crazy launch when it does launch, and I found the token. So if you go over to Molecule here, you can actually go see, I'm going to go back on the page for a second. You can see a completed list of all tokenized intellectual property that Molecule has. And if you go through them one at a time, you will see everything that they've launched, whether or not the liquidity pool has been added or not. You'll see Biard here, you can see Vita RNA, you can see Hempi, AB4AD, all of them, right? And so I found this one, Aubrey, and I looked in to see that they had already created the IP token and fractionalized it into 2 million tokens. And so upon further investigation, let's go to the bookmarked page here, found, oh, I don't remember which one it is. Nope, that's FAQ. Hold on, I'll find it. I bookmarked all of the tokens that I found that have not had liquidity added yet, but in fact already exist. And so here it is. Here's the contract address for the Bio AI agent that was tokenized right here. There it is, 2 million tokens. Aubrey AI. So if we wanted to go add liquidity, we need to find someone to give up some of their tokens, which we probably won't, but they did it 223 days ago. Crazy. Who knows? There's always the possibility that they don't actually end up using this contract for the actual token. It might go in a different route, but here it is. This is how we found this exact process that I just showed you guys is exactly how I was able to find the Cymark one at a $500 market cap, because I was watching these tokens. God damn, guys. I was watching these tokens that they were creating, and I watched them make it, and I watched it go live with some liquidity at a $500 market cap, and I was like, okay, let's tell everyone about it. People are selling off this thing like crazy. Clearly, people have no conviction in what they hold. It's probably the same people buying up here that are selling for a loss now on something with a $50,000 market cap, right as we see the beginning of DeSci season. This is what I mean, guys. This is what I mean. People really don't know how to play the game, and it's hysterical to me to watch it. But the same people selling down here are going to jump back into it when it crosses back to new all-time highs as they try and ride that momentum to the next stop. And it's going to be the same people like you and me who buy it back here, who just hold through whatever it is. that end up coming out on top. But yeah, the same reason that we found Cymark is how I just found Abria, and it's going to be one of the craziest launches that we see in DeSci for this cycle. You think only King of Pill substances will go to millions? No, not even a little bit. I do not think that's what it's going to take to go to millions, Beagle. And I think that Riff and Euro are prime examples of it. All of a sudden, Riff and Euro, which had been sitting at $5,000 to $10,000 market caps for 3 months, all of a sudden, the Solana degens found out about them and ran them all the way up to $250 million market caps, with Riff leading the charge, despite Riff being an antibiotic, meaning it could never actually go to human trials. We could never actually have gotten Riff to the full vision, but yet that's the one they chose to pump. And so it doesn't matter if it makes it to be King of the Pill or not. We're going to see people rotate into the pump science molecules. The King of the Pill one will probably pump the hardest, but I would venture to say that almost all of the molecules that get listed here on pump.science will have a point where they hit that $1 million market cap. And I think my initial take on the pump science molecules was that we would see them all go to 20 to 50 million. I don't think that to be the case anymore now that I've seen how many are actually getting launched. But I do think that we'll see like 5 to 10 of them get to 20 to 50 million dollar market caps. And at this point, they're all sitting down there at sub $100,000 market caps, which means they have some 100 to 500x gainers in there. And that is, yes, not 100 to 500% gains for Mason here. I'm saying 500 to 500x gainers, because that is how the crypto market moves, baby. That is how the crypto market moves. Speaking of moving, you guys see pill lately? Not this pill, this pill. I was down a little bit here today. It was sending. When I checked this morning, at least, it was looking like it was about to break out to new highs, but it seems that we got another pullback here. What about Wrap? How's Wrap doing? Wrap also having a pretty big sell-off in that range, $400,000 market cap. The good and the bad of these micro caps is that they move, but that's good and bad, right? And then we got this one, Poseidon DAO, sending to $3.6 million in market cap. We will see this one break out here very shortly, in my opinion, as the DeSci wave comes in. Poseidon DAO has consistently been one of the DAOs that just performs exceptionally well, and I do not think that will change anytime soon. I think that they will reclaim their all-time high. Low-key, same with Data Lake. I know Data Lake has been pretty brutal out here. For anyone who's held through this last crash, it's been pretty awful, but it moves fast. And I saw someone leaking pictures of the team behind Data Lake, which, let's remind you guys, they've received funding from the European Union. I know the EU gives out funding to a lot of companies, but not in DeSci. So I do think that they are here for the long term, and I do think that they will recover back up. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Do you want to come say hi?
Hi.
Amanda
Hi,
says
everybody.
hi. Hey. I do think that they will come back, and I think they'll have a glorious return. Just like the last couple times they've come down to this range, they just send straight back up. But I think that it'll be one of the last ones to pump in DeSci. Same thing with Noble, right? I know a lot of you guys hold Noble. I think that they will have their time in the sun again, where they come back and start putting in new all-time highs, especially with the new chart. But I think we'll see this thing. Let's go to the log chart. Sending back up to 10 million and such. But it's going to take time because it's one of the old guard. And we know crypto people love new guards. So one of the old guards is not going to pump as hard as one of the new guards. And that goes for almost all of them. But let's take a look at Axon. Axon being one of the old guard that I believe will perform exceptionally well. $38 million market cap. When people talk about DeSci, Axon is one of the names that they bring up. It's one of the coins that everyone talks about. So eventually this will end up breaking out, and I think we have a quick move back up to get back to some of these all-time highs. So any movement on Axon products? Not yet, but I'm working something out with Axon, and I'm not going to announce it officially yet, but when they are ready, you'll probably hear about the movement in the products really early on here because of what's being worked out behind the scenes right now. So hopefully you guys are excited for that. I'm super excited for it. We're going to get some of the Axon products mainstream, ladies and gentlemen. People are going to be using those products without even knowing that there's any crypto tied to it. Then all of a sudden they're going to be like, what do you mean? Claim my tokens. Well, I was looking at a watch, but it's a ring. What do you mean I can claim my tokens now? Claim. And then they'll be like, holy shit, I'm literally just existing. I'm getting paid. That's crazy. Exist to earn, baby. Is this our last chance at generational wealth before we're all slaves to communist AI robots? No. But that's for the average wagey, yeah. But for you and I, because we pay attention to this stuff, the answer is no. I saw some statistics, and I'll finish up the live stream here, answering questions and anything that you guys want to know about. Hey.
Hi.
Welcome.
I'll come say hi. Can you see me here?
Yes, you can.
Are you sure?
Yeah, let me move it. It's right here.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to the live stream.
Is everybody excited about bio?
Everyone is very excited about bio. You want to see the chart?
Yeah, show me.
It's on the left. I guess you can look at it there too. Let's look at bio on Solana. Dang.
Ooh.
Look at that straight line.
It's beautiful.
It's been 6 days and it is up 132%.
Amazing.
That's pretty crazy.
You're wearing your bio shirt today.
I am. I'm supporting. I'm amped up. We were just talking about Axon and Data Lake and Noble and...
Data Lake!
Data Lake.
Lake. Yeah, I want to hear more, but I got it.
You're good. Sarah says hi.
Hi, Sarah.
Mods. Remove Zaj. Mods. I'll tell her you said that though, Zaj. It'll actually make her day. Where were we? What were we talking about? No, it will actually make her day. But, oh, yeah, the robotics takeover. So I saw some interesting statistics yesterday, okay? You ready for this? Estimates right now from leading economists suggest that all of the GDP growth that we're experiencing in the United States is derived from AI spend. Let me break that down for a second for you guys, okay? All of the growth in the United States economy, between 50 to 100% of it, is being attributed to artificial intelligence right now. Okay? That is a crazy stat. That means that without artificial intelligence, we would not be having, we'd be in a recession basically. We would have no growth. No growth is a recession. So AI right now is the only reason that we're not in a recession potentially, or at least on the cusp of a recession, right? If you move even further out on the innovation curve, did you know that the first robots started taking over factory jobs in 2024? That was last year, guys. We have a couple thousand robots working in factories like Amazon warehouses. Amazon just laid off a couple hundred employee workers, which doesn't sound like a lot, or factory workers, which is not a lot, but they replaced them with robots. Okay? It's already going on. It's already happening. It's very small levels right now, but they've deployed 750,000 robots to work alongside the humans. They're literally training them to take over some of the jobs right now. They've been doing this since April of 2024, right? This is a trend that is expected to grow between 35 to 40% CAGR, compound annual growth rate. There's almost nothing else in the entire world that is growing at that rate. So the AI robot takeover has already started. It's just on the very, very small end of the uptick. Now, because of you and I being smarter than the average person in the market, right? No, I'm not even going to say in the market, but like most people aren't paying attention to this. Most people don't know what ChatGPT is. Most people are not familiar with what AI is, or at the very least, their only familiarity with artificial intelligence is ChatGPT. You know, think about that. Most people are not familiar with Anthropic or Claude or XAI or Gemini or any of these models or DeepSeek, right? Most people don't know about that. Most people don't know that robots are actively taking a lot of jobs. Most people just stop right there when they do hear that and say, the government better step in and save my ass. I'm not getting replaced by no clanker. The government better come in here and do something about this because this is ridiculous. No, the government's not going to do anything about it, because if they do, they're going to go into a big recession. They're going to go into a depression because they can't stop this, because it's the only thing keeping us afloat right now. And so what we do as investors is go and look for investment opportunities to make money off of it, so that we are not the ones who end up getting replaced. Or when we do get replaced, we just retire off of the money that we earned from investing into the companies that are replacing us. It's a very easy game. It's just most people refuse to learn how to play the game, and then they're stuck playing Monopoly without ever buying anything. They just pass go over and over and over again and just assume that they're going to thrive in an environment just by collecting that $200 every time they pass go, i.e. a paycheck. It's not how the game works. You need to buy assets. You need to invest. You need to put your money to work for you. Otherwise, when you land on someone's property, you're going to get cooked. And it's the same exact thing here. You go and you start looking into what are the companies that are leading in robotics. What are the companies that are leading in artificial intelligence? And we aren't yet seeing the profits hit the robotics companies. You know, most of them are not profitable yet. You go look at Tesla. Tesla's got its robotics chain. They are not yet even shipping those robotics, unlike something like Unitree, right? I think Unitree is it Unitree? No, sorry.
Okay, I've never heard that in my life.
I know. Yeah, Unitree seems to be the number one. I don't think that it's a publicly traded stock yet. Yeah, it's a private company. It's not available for purchase on the stock market. But now is the time to start looking into some of these companies, because they're not profitable right now, but they probably will be profitable in the next 2 to 3 years. And so the way that you make the most money investing in the financial markets is by buying something that is not yet profitable, but is about to grow their top line and bottom line faster and faster and faster. Like all of a sudden Tesla goes from losing money to making a little bit of money to making a shit ton of money, and the stock price goes up 2,000%. All of a sudden Palantir is not making any money, and then they go to making money, and then they grow to making more money than they were last quarter, and their stock goes up from $11 to $200. You go look at what is the emerging narrative, and right now the emerging narrative looks like it's AI, but it's really robots. Robotics are not yet viewed as powerful as AI, but it is just as powerful as AI. So now's the time to start looking for them. And I would honestly appreciate it if you guys were to join the Discord, which there's a link to it in the description of the video. Join the Discord, and if you do any research on robotics, post it into the Discord. If you find publicly listed companies, post it in the Discord, please, so that we can take a look at them together. If more and more of us come together looking for these opportunities, the odds of us finding one go up dramatically versus just 1 or 2 people looking, or us looking independently. If all 17 people watching this right now go look for publicly traded robotics companies that have very little debt on their balance sheet and are growing revenues, we can talk about it more in the Discord. Just join the Discord and start looking for some of these opportunities. All right, cool. That's how we found Bio. That's how we found DeSci, is finding emerging narratives that are set to change the game, getting in early. All right? Bill Nye the Clanker guy. Oh, God. You guys are funny. I want to say something, but I'm not going to say it because I feel like it's not a good idea to say it. Dreaming about Bill's hologram preaching DeSci IRL. One day, you know? What happens when we upload Bill's neural network into one of these humanoid robots here? You know, you can go get one for 21 grand. One day, we put Bill into one of these robots. We use his treasury to buy a Unitree G1 robot, upload Bill's AI chips from NVIDIA into it. And Bill is just walking around with the rest of us, being like, science rules. All right, guys. Appreciate you spending so much time with me. I'll be live again tomorrow at noon. Your time's your most valuable asset, so hopefully it was worth investing it into. But I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out. Bill the DeSci Butler. Let's go, baby.